ready now, Gertrude. We won't ring the chimes today. I'll just call them myself. Roderick, Mother Bayard, we're ready now. Come to dinner. And a new horse, too, Roderick. I used to think only the wicked owned 2 horses. A new horse, and a new house, and a new wife. Here, Mother Bayard, you sit between us.
How do you like it, Mother Bayard? Our first Christmas dinner in the new house.
I don't know what your dear father would say.
Amen.
Amen. My dear Lucia, I can remember when there were still Indians on this very land, and I wasn't a young girl either. Oh, I can remember when we had to cross the Mississippi on a new made route. I can remember when St. Louis and Kansas City were full of Indians. Imagine that. There. What a wonderful day for our first Christmas dinner here. A beautiful sunny morning. Snow. A splendid sermon. Dr. McCarthy preaches a splendid sermon. I cried and cried.
What will you have, Mother? A little sliver of white?
And every last twig is wrapped around with ice. You almost never see that. Can I cut it up for you, dear? Gertrude, I forgot the jelly. You know, on the top shelf. Oh, Mother Bayard, we found your mother's gravy bowl while we were moving. What was her name again, dear? What were all of your names? You were, Genevieve Wainwright. And your mother? Yes, you must write it down somewhere. I was Genevieve Wainwright. My mother was Faith Morrison. She was the daughter of a farmer in New Hampshire who was something of a blacksmith too. And she married young John Wainwright. Genevieve Wainwright, Faith Morrison.
It's all down in a book someplace upstairs. All that kind of thing is very interesting. Come now, Lucia. A little red wine. Mother, a little red wine full of iron. A little red wine for thy stomach's sake.
I really can't get used to wine. I don't know what my father would say. But I suppose it's all right.
Well, 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 I smell turkey, my dear cousins. I can't tell you how pleasant it is to be having Christmas dinner with you all. I've lived out there in Alaska so long without relatives. Let me see, how long have you had this new house, Roderick?
Why, it must be
5 years. It's been 5 years, children. You should keep a diary. This is your 6th Christmas dinner here. Think of that, Roderick. We feel as though we've lived here 20 years.
At all events, it still looks as good as new.
What will it be, Brandon? Light or dark? Frida, fill up Cousin Brandon's glass.
Really, I can't get used to wines. I don't know what my father would say, I'm sure. What'll you have, Mother Bayard? Yes, I can remember when there are still Indians on this very land. Mother Bayard hasn't been very well lately, Roger. My mother is a Faith Morrison, and in New Hampshire, she married a young John Wainwright, who was a congregational minister. He saw her in his congregation one day. Mother Bayard, hadn't you better lie down, dear? And right in the middle of his sermon, he said to himself, I'll marry that girl. And he did. And I'm their daughter. Just a little nap, dear? I'm all right. Just go on with your dinner. I was 10, and I said to my brother,
It's too bad it's such a cold, dark day today. We must need the lamps. I spoke to Major Lewis for a moment after church. His sciatica troubles him, but he doesn't know.
I know Mother Bayard wouldn't want us to grieve for her today, but I still can't forget her sitting right beside us only a year ago. And she would be so happy to know our good news.
Now, it's Christmas. Cousin Brandon, a glass of wine with you, sir.
A glass of wine with you, sir.
Does the major sciatica cause him much pain?
He says it'll all be the same in 100 years.
Yes, he's a great philosopher.
Oh, his wife is sending something over for Christmas dinner later this afternoon.
I gave her a gift. What was it? Oh, yes, the work basket. My wonderful new baby, my darling baby. Whoever saw such a child? Quick, nurse, a boy or a girl? A boy? Roderick? What shall we call him? Really, nurse, you've never seen such a child.
We'll call him Charles, after your father and grandfather.
But there are no Charleses in the Bible, Roderick.
Of course there are. Surely there are.
Roderick. Very well. But he shall always be Samuel to me.
Really, nurse, you've never seen such a child.
And what miraculous hands he has. Really, they're the most beautiful hands in the world. All right, nurse. Have a good night, my darling child.
Oh, and don't drop him, nurse. Brandon and I want him in the firm. Lucia, a little more white meat, stuffing, cranberry sauce, anybody?
Margaret, the stuffing is very good. Just a little, thank you.
Now something to wash it down. Cousin Brandon, a glass of wine with you, sir. And to the ladies, God bless them, everyone.
Thank you, kind sirs.
Pity it's such an overcast day today. No snow.
But the sermon was lovely. I cried and cried. Dr. Spaulding preaches a splendid sermon.
I saw Major Lewis for a moment after church. His rheumatism troubles him, but he goes on. His wife is dropping something off for Charles later this afternoon.
Oh, my lovely new baby, my darling baby. Really, nurse, it never occurred to me that it might be a girl. Why, nurse, she's perfect.
Why don't you choose what to call her this time? It is your turn, after all.
Yes, this time I shall have my way.
She shall be called Genevieve, after your mother. Have a good night, my treasure. Imagine, someday she'll wake up and say, "Good morning, mother. Good morning, father." Really, Cousin Brandon, you don't find a baby like that every day.
And the new factory.
A new factory. Really, Roger, I shall be very uncomfortable if you turn out to be rich. I've been afraid of that for years. But we mustn't talk of such things on Christmas Day. Please quite me, thank you. And Roger, Charles is destined for the ministry. I'm sure of it.
Woman, we can't go about deciding his destiny already. He is only 12. Besides, Brandon and I want him in the firm. Anyways, no time passes as slowly as you're waiting for your urchins to grow up and come to business.
I don't want time to go any faster, thank you. I love the children just as they are. Roger, you know what the doctor said? One glass a meal.
Now, I wonder what's the matter with me.
Roger, do be reasonable.
But, my dear, statistics show that we steady, moderate drinkers.
Roger, my dear one!
Well, it is good to be back at table with you all again. God knows how many good Christmas dinners I've had to miss up there, cloistered away in my room. And a fine, bright one, too.
Yes, you gave us a very worrying time. Here's your glass of milk. Josephine, give Mr. Baird his medicine from the cupboard in the library.
Now that I'm feeling a little bit better, I'm going to start doing something about the house.
You are not changing anything about the house.
Only touch it up here and there, but great heavens, it looks 100 years old.
It's a great blowing morning, Mother. The wind comes over the hill like a lot of cannon.
You cut the turkey, dear. Your father is not well.
But not yet.
You always said you hated carving. be depressed.
Sad things aren't the same as depressing things. I must be getting old. I like them.
Uncle Brandon, you haven't had anything to eat. Hilda, pass his plate.
It's glorious. Every last twig is wrapped around with ice. You almost never see that.
Did you have time to deliver the presents after church, Genevieve?
Yes, Mama. Old Mrs. Lewis sends you 1,000 thanks for hers. It was just what you wanted, she said. Give me lots, Charles. Lots.
Statistics show that we steady.
How about a little
Moderate
skating this
drinkers.
afternoon, Father?
And I said, I'll live till I'm 90.
I don't think he ought to go skating.
But not yet.
He was so young and so clever, Cousin Brandon. I said he was so young and so clever. Never forget your father, children. He was a good man. Well, he wouldn't want us to grieve for him today.
White or dark, Genevieve? Another sliver, Mother.
I can remember our first Christmas in this house, Genevieve. 25 years ago today. Mother Bayard was sitting right beside me,
And she could remember when Indians lived on this very spot, and when she had to cross the river on a new big raft.
She couldn't have, Mother.
That can't be true.
It certainly was true. Even I can remember when there was only one paved street. We were very happy to walk on boards. We can remember when there were no sidewalks. Can we, Cousin Brandon?
Oh, yes, and those were the days.
Birthdays.
Oh, at the ball last night, Genevieve. Did you have a good time? I hope you didn't waltz. I believe a woman in our position ought to set an example. Did Charles keep an eye on you?
He had none left. They were all on Leonora Banning. He can't conceal it any longer, Mother. I think he's engaged to marry Leonora Banning.
I'm not engaged to marry anyone.
Well, she's very pretty.
I shall never marry, Mother. I shall sit in this house beside you forever, as if life were one long happy Christmas dinner.
Oh, you mustn't say such things.
You don't want me? You don't want me? Oh, Mother! How silly you are. There's nothing sad about that. What could possibly be sad about that?
Forgive me, I'm just unpredictable, that's all.
Leonora!
Good morning, Mother Bear. Good morning, everybody. Mother Bear, you sit here by Charles. It really is a splendid Christmas day today.
Little white meat mother, Genevieve, Leonora.
Every last twig is encircled with ice. You never see that.
Uncle Brandon, another. Rogers, fill my uncle's glass.
Do what your father used to do. It would please Cousin Brandon so, you know, Uncle Brandon, a glass of wine.
Uncle Brandon, a glass of wine with you, sir.
A glass of wine with you, sir. The ladies, God bless them ever.
Thank you, kind sir.
Oh, and if I go to Germany for my music, I promise to be back by Christmas. I wouldn't miss that.
I hate to think of you all alone in some strange pension.
Oh, but darling, the time will pass so fast, you'll hardly know I'm gone. I'll be back in the twinkling of an eye. Oh, what a darling baby. Do let me hold it, nurse. Nurse? I did love it so.
No, I think it would be fine. A little more potato, gravy, anybody? Cranberry sauce, Mother.
It was great out there in Alaska in those days.
Mother, what is pasture? It will pass. We'll pass the music. No, dear. I want to be alone for a few minutes.
If the Republicans collected all of their votes, instead of going off into strange cliques among themselves, they might prevent his getting a second term.
Charles, Mother doesn't tell us, but she hasn't been very well these days.
Come, Mother, we'll go to Florida for a few weeks.
Don't be foolish. Don't grieve. What will I do? What's left for me to do?
Oh, my darlings, twins! Charles, are they glorious? Look at them! Look at them!
Which one is which?
I feel as though I was the first mother who ever had twins. Look at them now. Why wasn't Mother Bayard allowed to stay and see them?
I don't want to go on. I can't bear it.
But Genevieve, how frightfully Mother would feel to think that. Genevieve.
I never told her how wonderful she was. We all treated her as though she were just a friend in the house. I thought she would be here forever.
Genevieve, darling, do come 1 minute and hold my baby's hands. We shall call the girl Lucia after her grandmother. Will that please you? Do just see what adorable little hands they have.
They are wonderful, Leonora.
Give him your finger, darling. Just let him hold it.
And we'll call the boys Samuel. Now, everybody, come finish your dinners. Don't drop them, nurse. At least don't drop the boy. We'll need him in the firm.
Someday they'll be big. Imagine. They'll come in and say, hello, Mother.
Come. A little wine. Leonora. Genevieve. Full of iron. Eduardo, fill the ladies' glasses. It certainly is a keen, cold morning. I used to go skating with Father on days like this, and Mother would come back from church
I know.
and say,
Saying, such a splendid sermon. I cried and cried. Why did you cry, dear?
Oh, that generation all cried at sermons. It was their way.
Really, Genevieve?
They had to go, since they were children, and I suppose sermons reminded them of their fathers and mothers, just as Christmas dinners do to us, especially in an old house like this.
It really is pretty old, Charles, and it's so ugly, with all that ironwork filigree and that dreadful cupola.
Charles, you aren't going to change the house.
no, but great heavens, it's 50 years old. This spring, we'll remove the cupola and build a new wing towards the tennis courts.
And then can we ask you to see Cousin Ermengarde to live with us? She really is the self-effacing kind.
Yes, take her out of the first grade.
We only seem to think of it on Christmas Day with her Christmas card staring us in the face.
Another boy! Here's a Roger for you at last.
Roderick Brandon Bayard, a regular little fighter.
Goodbye, darling. Don't grow up too fast. Yes, stay just as you are. Thank you, nurse.
Stay just as you are.
Now I have 3 children. 1, 2, 3. 2 boys and a girl. Collecting them. It's very exciting. What, Mary? Oh, Cousin Ermengarde's come. Come in, cousin.
It's such a pleasure to be with you all.
have taken a great fancy to you already, cousin.
The baby went to her at once.
Now, cousin, how exactly are we related? There, Genevieve, that's your specialty. But first, a little potato, gravy. Anybody?
I can work it out. Grandmother Bayard, she was your grandmother Bayard, was a second cousin of my grandmother Haskins, the Wainwrights.
It's all in a book somewhere upstairs. That kind of thing is awfully interesting.
Nonsense. There are no such books. I collect all of my notes off of gravestones, and you have to scrape a good deal of moss, let me tell you, to find one great-grandparent.
There's a story that my grandmother Bayard crossed the Mississippi on a raft before there were bridges or ferry boats. She died before Genevieve and I were born. Time does move awfully fast in a new country like this.
Well, time must be passing very slowly in Europe with this dreadful, dreadful war going on.
I don't think wars are all bad. They clear up a lot of poisons in countries. It's like a boil.
Oh dear.
Yes, it's like a boil. Aha, here are the twins.
Isn't he wonderful in it, Mother?
Let's get a look at you.
Mother, don't let Roger fool with my stamp apple while I'm gone.
Now, Sam, do write a letter once in a while. Do be a good boy about that mind.
You might send some of those cakes of yours once in a while, Cousin Hermangard.
I certainly will, my dear boy.
And remember, if you need any money, we have agents in Paris and London.
Do be a good boy, Sam.
Well, bye.
I spoke to Miss Fairchild for a moment about church. Her rheumatism's a little better, she says. She sends you her warmest thanks for the Christmas present. The work basket, wasn't it? It was an admirable sermon. And our stained glass window looked so beautiful, Leonora. So beautiful. Everybody spoke of it. And so affectionately of Sammy. Forgive me, Leonora, but it's best to speak of him than not to speak of him. We're all thinking of him so far.
He was a mere boy. A mere boy, Charles.
My dear, my dear.
I want to tell him how wonderful he was. We let him go so casually. I want to tell him how we all feel about him. Forgive me. Let me walk about a minute. Yes, of course, Ermengarde, it's best to speak of him. Isn't there anything I can do?
No, dear.
Only time, only the passing of time can help in these things.
What's the matter, Mother? Why are you so glum? The skating today, it was fine.
Roderick, I have something to say to you.
Lucia skated in the corner with Dan Crichton the entire time. When will it be, Lucia? When will it be?
I don't know what you mean.
Lucia's leaving us soon, Mother. Dan Crichton, of all people.
Young man, I have something to say to you.
Yes, Father?
Roderick, is it true that you made yourself conspicuous last night at the country club? At the Christmas Eve dance to...
Not now, Charles.
No!
It was dinner.
I didn't!
Really, Father, he didn't. It was that dreadful Johnny Lewis.
I don't want to hear about a Johnny Lewis. I want to know whether a son of
Charles, I
mine,
beg of you.
the first family of this city...
I hate this town! And everything about it. I always have.
You acted like a spoiled puppy, sir. An ill-bred, spoiled
What did
puppy.
I do? What did I do that was so wrong?
You were drunk and you were rude to the daughters of my best friend.
Nothing in the world deserves an ugly scene like this.
Great God! You've got to get drunk in a town like this. Nothing ever changes. It's so dull. Time passes so slowly here and it stands still. That's the trouble.
Young man, we can employ your time. January 2nd, you will leave university and work at the Bayard factory.
I've got better things to do than sit in your stuffy old factory. I'm going somewhere where time passes. My God!
Roderick! Roderick! California or somewhere. Cousin Ermengarde has done most of my packing. Thanks 1,000 times, Cousin Ermengarde. I won't be long.
It's a very beautiful day. On the way home from church, I stopped and saw Miss Foster a moment. Her arthritis comes and goes.
Is she actually in pain, dear?
Oh, she says it'll all be the same in 100 years.
Yes, she's a brave little stoic.
Little white meat mother. Mary, pass my cousin's plate.
Is that a telegram? Oh, here's a telegram from them in Paris. Love and Christmas greetings to all. I told them we'd be eating some of their wedding cake today and thinking of them. It seems to be all decided that they will settle in the East, Ermengarde. I can't even have my daughter for a neighbor. They hope to build not before long somewhere on the shore north of New York.
There is no shore north of New York.
Well, east or west or whatever it is.
It certainly is a keen, cold morning. I used to go skating with father on days like this. Time passes so slowly with young people in the house.
I have 3 children somewhere.
One gave his life for his country.
One of them is selling aluminum in China.
I can stand everything, but this terrible soot everywhere. We should have moved long ago. We're surrounded by factories. We have to change the window curtains every week.
Why, Genevieve?
I can't stand it! I can't stand it anymore. I'm going abroad. It's not only the soot that comes in and out through the walls of this house. It's the thoughts. It's the thoughts of what has been here and what might have been here. And it's the feeling of this house, of the years grinding away. My mother died yesterday, not 25 years ago. How I am going to live and die abroad. Yes, I am going to be the American old maid living and dying in a pension in Munich or Florence. Genevieve, you're tired.
Genevieve, have a glass of cold water. Mary, open the window a
I'm
minute.
sorry. I'm sorry. Genevieve will come back to us, I think. You should have been out today, Leonora. It was one of those days where everything was encircled with ice. Very pretty indeed.
Leonora, I used to go skating with father on days like this. I wish I felt a little bit better.
Don't tell me I have 2 invalids on my hands at once. Ermengarde, you must get better and help me nurse Charles.
I'll do my best.
I'll do as you ask, Leonora. I'll write the puppy a letter of forgiveness and apology. It's Christmas Day. I'll cable it. Yes, that's what I'll do.
It's such a comfort having you here with me, Ermengarde. I really can't eat anything. Well, maybe just a little sliver of white meat.
Spoke to Miss Keene for a moment after church. She asked after the young people. In church, I felt very proud sitting under a stained glass window, Leonora. They're brass tablets, the Bayard Isle. It's a regular Bayard Isle. I love it.
Ermengarde, would you be terribly angry with me if I went to the spring with the young people a little this year?
I know how badly they want you and need you, especially the new house and all.
You wouldn't be angry? This house is yours as long as you want to, remember.
I don't see by the press that you need it so much. You love it more than I can say.
I won't be long, and then we can have some more of our readings aloud in the evening.